Okay, so hi everybody. I wanted to show you how to do a watercolor Valentine's card. You could use it for anything. So I'm going to show you kind of with the effect that we're going for, and then I'll kind of take you through it step by step and show you how to put this card together. So this is the, let's see if you can see it under the camera, the watercolor heart that we're going to be doing. So we're actually going to be doing 3 of them on the card. I've already started just so that you can kind of see where we're going to be going with this. Okay, so the stamp that I'm using is this heart stamp here, which is actually from the last paper pumpkin, the January paper pumpkin kit, but there's a very similar stamp that you can order and use to do this on page 16 of the catalog, the annual catalog, from the You're So Sweet stamp set. You can actually use this heart right here for it as well. Okay, so I'm going to grab my ink. So the ink colors we're going to be using for this card is the Sahara Sand, that's not the right color. Where did my ink go? Okay, here it is. It's hiding on me. Okay, the Elegant Eggplant, Rose Red, and the Real Red. So hopefully you can see all those in the frame. I think so. Okay, so these are the 3 colors that we're going to be using to do the watercolor heart. So I cut this. This is the shimmer paper that you can purchase through Stampin' Up. You can also use the watercolor paper. It has a little bit of a shimmer to it. I don't know that you can see it in this light right now. It's pretty dark in the room that I'm in. And if you hear any background noise, I apologize. I'm actually doing the laundry at the same time. I'm multitasking, so you may hear the washing machine in the background. I'm not sure. Okay, so how we're gonna start, let me get rid of this. Okay, is you're gonna start by stamping your heart 3 times on the paper. I did mine diagonally. It really doesn't matter. You can do them, and you can do as many as you want. We're gonna use the Sahara Sand to do the heart. So I'm actually not going to stamp my paper because I've already stamped this, but I'll show you just how to ink up your stamp. Just tap it, and then I'm going to move this out of the way. You're going to stamp off, okay, 1 time, and then you're going to stamp on your white shimmer paper, okay, wherever you want the heart. You're going to go ahead and do that. The reason is you want the heart to be really light. Okay, so that when we actually go ahead and watercolor over it, you're not going to see the outline. So you want it just to be a really faint outline. Okay, and then to start watercoloring, you're going to go ahead and get all your ink pads ready. So what I do is I just squeeze the ink pad a little bit before I open it, so I get a blotch of ink in the pad. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay out all my colors. So I have my Elegant Eggplant, I have my Rose Red, which again I'm squeezing, and I have my Real Red. Okay, so those are the 3 colors that we're going to do. Then we're going to use the aqua painter, and what you can do is you can actually fill it with water. For this card I don't do that. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the cap off. So what you want to do though is just make sure it's clean if you've used it before, okay, and you're just going to wet your brush, okay, with some clear water. And the first thing you want to do is just go over your heart with clear water. Okay, so you want to get it nice and wet, your whole heart. I'm just going to do 1 to show you, and then you can just repeat it for each one. So you want to get your whole heart nice and wet. If you go outside the lines a little bit, it doesn't matter too much, but you want to try and keep all the water inside the heart, because that's where the ink's going to bleed to, is wherever the card is wet. Okay, so once you have that all wet, you're just going to go ahead, and I start with the top, so I'm going to take the Elegant Eggplant and just get it on my aqua painter. Then I'm going to do the outline first. And you see that the ink is just going to bleed in to where the water is. Okay, so the first heart that's on this card is actually already dried already, so that's what it's going to look like, or very similar. Obviously they're not all going to be the same because it is watercolor. Okay. Alright, I'm going to put that down. Then I'm going to rinse my brush off. Okay, make sure it's clean. And then I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to use the real red from the bottom. I can hear my son fussing, so I might have to go and come back to this. But I want to see if I can get this heart done. So I'm going to do the bottom with the real red, the same as I did, way I did the top. And then I'm going to rinse it. And I'll come back to it and add more color. I just want to get the outline done, and then the middle we're going to do the rose red. Okay. And then I'm just going to help the rose red come on in the middle a little bit. Rinse my brush, and then go back to the real red and add some more ink along the outside. Help it in a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to come back, clean my brush again, come back and do some more of the eggplant. Okay, so I just started the outside because that's where I want it to be darker. And I'll probably just add a little bit more water to my brush to make it a little lighter, and then come in and just help the color bleed in a little bit more and blend it together. Okay, and you can add kind of more ink here or there, wherever you like. I think I'll probably just add a little bit more of the rose red in the middle, just to blend it together a little bit. Okay, and then you're just going to let that dry, and it really changes as it dries. Okay, and blends together. So that's the heart. So you're going to go ahead and do all your hearts. Okay, I'm going to just keep going and do my last one. I won't narrate through it though, but you can watch. So I'm going to do the same way that I did the first two. Once these are done, you can either go ahead and let it air dry, or if you have a hair dryer or a heat embossing tool, you can use that to speed up the drying process a little bit. Okay. I think I got that all nice and wet. The outside. So again, the color is going to go where the water is. You can also use the re-inkers for this, which are the little bottles that Stampin' Up! Sells to refill your ink pads. You can just keep going back and adding more color if you want more color in certain areas and blending it. Okay, and then like I said, we're just going to let that dry. Okay, and so those are your watercolor hearts. Okay, and we'll come back to it once it's dry too. Finish this off. The next thing I'm going to do for my card, I still do this while it's drying. So hopefully you guys can see all of the card. Oops, it's okay. I don't think you can see my thumbprint. All right, hopefully you guys can see those hearts. So these two are wet, and then that's the dry. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and leave that there, and then I'm going to get my sentiment. So, well, the one I chose for this card is from the Weather Together set, and I'm just going to do the love on the front of the card. So that's a stamp there. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this off and put it on an acrylic block. Okay. And then I need to get my black ink. So I'm going to use the archival black ink for this. And flip over. And just ink up my stamp. Do a little test run. Lovely. Okay, re-ink it. Okay, now you guys see that? Yes, perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead, just stick my sentiment on here where I want it. Just down and up, and there we go. All right. So that's gonna be the outside of my card. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. And I will get out and wash my... I'm gonna go ahead and do a hot dog fold card for this one. So I'm gonna take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of elegant eggplant cardstock, and to make the hot dog fold, we're gonna cut it at 4 1/4, so halfway for the sheet. So this is our card base. I'm just going to go ahead and fold it. Use my bone folder. Okay, you can score. You can also score it going this way at 5 1/2, or you can just go right out and fold it, whichever you prefer. The Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer also has a scoring blade on it, so this is the scoring blade here, and then it also has the cutting blade as well, and it does expand, so you can do a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper on here. It actually goes more than that. I think it actually goes to 14 1/2, looks like. Okay, so when you go ahead and cut your shimmer cardstock, you want it to be just about 5 1/4 by 4, so that you have some purple around the outside. Okay, I only took about an 1/8 off instead of a 1/4, just because I had messed up. But you can go ahead, if you want just a tiny bit of color around, you can do that, or if you want to add more color around, you can make it thicker and do it at the 1/4 inch. Okay, so my paper's still not dry yet, so I'm not going to go ahead and stick that down just quite yet. I'm going to leave it like that for now, and then what I'll probably do is just put a Happy Valentine's Day sentiment in the middle. So I cut another sheet of white down to about the same size and put that in the middle, and we're just gonna, this one's a little bit, yeah, smaller, so we're gonna do that. Oops, okay, got pink on it. Okay, so this one's gonna go in the center. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to use, again, the stamp for my paper pumpkin kit. But again, there's other Valentines or other sentiments in the catalog. So I'm just gonna stick this on a block. And this one just says Happy Valentine's Day. And I'm just gonna stick that in the middle of my card. You can also stick it on the heart. That's actually what it's meant for. So if you wanted, you could do it on the outside of your card. I just want to do it on the inside, and I just want a simple cover. So where is my black? Okay. I'm just going to use my black, put it back under my stamping pad. Okay, the pad just helps make sure it's nice even coverage. Make sure my card is straight, and make sure my stamp is straight. And I'm just going to do that in the middle. Okay, so that's going to go on the inside of my card, and then I can write my little note on the outside. So to put that on the inside, I'm going to use my snail somewhere around here. Okay. Dimensional stuck to it. Okay. Move that out of the way. Alright, so I'm just going to flip it over and use my snail. You can still see this. Okay, you just roll it. That side, and then I'm going to go ahead and center it. And stick it down. Okay. And then I think what I'm actually going to do for my outside is once it dries, I'm going to fix it with dimensionals. In any case, so this is the watercolor technique that I wanted to show you today. So you can do it super fancy. You can put more hearts on it, less. Just do one. You can even, like I said, stamp the sentiment inside the hearts. This was just a really quick card that I came up with, and I wanted to give the watercolor a try and show you guys. I might still add to it. I'll wait and see. Usually I like to set my cards aside and then come back to them, but we'll see what happens.